Again. With memes. Oh, I forgot to put the other Twitters.
This just confirms what we have believed about the Democratic Party and why it currently has a 21% approval rating in Congress. No! Look where the energy in the Democratic Party is. It's around retrieving aliens from El Salvador. It's around fighting for these college campuses that have been rife with anti-Semitism.
Anti-Semitism.
Yes, definitely. It's around biological males who want to play in girls' sports. This is why they are losing to Donald Trump every day, because the energy that feel comes on all these issues.
And then, right, the constant bringing up of the prices of eggs and shit like that.
Donald Trump. Yeah, I mean, it's Donald Trump that's actually losing the support of the American people. Donald Trump's not focused on lowering the costs of housing, not focused on lowering the price of goods.
What did you say?
He's out there denying people that have legal status to be here, revoking student visas from students that are contributing to this country.
He doesn't have legal status, Congressman.
Yeah, I like how none of these people attack the arguments. All they do is they just spit out whatever their fucking agenda is. It's so weird.
You're gonna go to
it feels so disconnected.
Go to the grocery store, like.
Really?
I don't know.
There's an issue here where you could possibly win on, but you're going to El Salvador instead.
It's okay that someone walking into.
Hey, I don't know why they want to die on that fucking hill. It's so fucking weird. Just keep doing it. Yeah, dog. Ouch. Kamala Harris, hold on. 2028 nominations slipping poll. Kamala Harris losing steam in Dem primary poll as rivalry on the rise. Marathon speech said Cory Booker moves up in presidential primary poll. Oh, is he gonna run for presidency? Let's predict she's a top 28 contender. President likely 28 nominee. Wow.
We're not gonna make it, are we?
We're not gonna.
It's in your nature to destroy yourselves.
What do you want to know?
Yeah, apparently they're gonna put her on the table. I don't know why. I guess so. They're not gonna like get Michelle Obama or something. Why don't you get one of the the first lady, right? Ex-first ladies. I don't know why. Right? Why don't you try and get Michelle Obama or some shit? They tried to get Clinton. Clinton doesn't work out because she's a fucking murderer. Everybody around her just gets fucking murdered.
The only reason Donald Trump has the power to create this much chaos, to drive the market down and then straight back up and then back down again. No! The only reason he has is there's a provision in law that says if he declares an emergency, blah, blah, blah. But it says right under it,
emergency
and the United
what?
States Congress can say, yo, not an emergency. We can vote on that. So Senator Wyden and I have introduced a bill that is it would be this proclamation. There's no emergency here.
I'm sorry, what? You lost me.
And we are able to vote. So in about 2 weeks, there's going to be a vote in the Senate. And here's the deal. Every single Republican is going to have to say out loud with their vote, either you are here just to fall on the ground and kiss the head of Donald Trump, or you are here to stand up for the American people. You're going to have to vote on this one way or the other.
Really?
What I got? Tesla showroom and GOP office torched by dude in blue lipstick. Uh-oh. Oh wait, I think I saw that on the Twitters. I think I saw the picture of that. Faces billions in losses after Trump admin demands addresses anti-Semitism. Well, we're gonna pull your federal funding. Uh-oh. To continue this clown world of ours. Uh-oh. Darts. I don't even care about darts. Sued for allegedly planning to let socialist org cash in on deceased professor's retirement fund. What? Wait, you could do that? What the fuck? That's possible? What the shit? New study uncovers over $100 or $100 million in foreign dark money laundered through 1630 fund to push far left ballot initiative. 25 states. Why? What? It's probably all the weird blue states. Healthcare program overrun by illegals. Newsom signs $2.8 bill bailout. Medicaid program. Oh yeah. Yeah, basically he wants the feds to help him. Basically, he's trying to ask Trump to help. Over Trump's terrorist communist, a parrot chick warns those American peasants will suffer. Suffer. I read that accurately. John Kennedy confronts FMR general with prior anti-Trump remarks in tense exchange.
Duty, honor, respect. You talked about that in your opening statement. On October 14th, you went on CNN. I want to read you what you...
This is a Louisiana senator from... This is another senator from, Louisiana.
You said, President Trump is not like any sane leader. I'm very proud of General Milley for saying that President Trump is a total fascist. To Bob Woodward, if he is chairman of the Joint Chiefs is calling the president a fascist, I'm so proud of him for breaking that barrier. The challenge is because most MAGA Republicans, they don't understand what fascism is. The reality is that they are in fact fascists themselves. Did I read that accurately?
Senator, I am happy to discuss my personal perspective with you separately at any time. That's not the purpose of the hearing today.
Did I read that accurately?
I believe so, yes.
You think you're smarter than the American people, don't you?
Absolutely not, Senator. I am here to discuss the use of the military as part of this mass deportation.
You think you're more virtuous than the American people, don't you, General?
Senator, I am insulted by your comment.
By their actions, you know what someone's character is like. You agree with that?
Of course.
Senator, I am insulted by your comments. So fucking...
Of course.
We're getting a little tired of the woke generals that we have, right?
MAGA Republicans. The reality is that they are in fact fascists themselves.
Of course.
Very funny. Alright, on to the next. Let's wait off on that one. Here we go. President Hollen loses it after being denied on live TV. Uh-oh.
So I do intend to keep at this.
Oh, he got denied?
Until we ensure that Mr. Garcia has his rights to due process, which is what the courts of the United States have called for.
What do you mean? I'm sorry. The who of the United States asked for? No, we didn't. I didn't ask for this. You're doing this on your own whim. You fucking weirdo. Go back to your weird state and fucking noose yourself.
They have said that his abduction is illegal, and they have called upon him to be brought back to the United States.
Yeah.
What the hell?
So I will keep at this, but I can assure you that while I may be the first senator and first member of the United States Congress to come here to El Salvador in this case, I certainly will not be the last. There'll be many more coming.
You got denied, dumbass. Get the fuck out, you fucking weirdo. Don't even know why he went there in the first place. No one asked him to. I don't even think his own constituents asked him to do fucking that. Why did he do that? Fucking weirdo.
James is under investigation for falsifying records to get loans. Funny, isn't this exactly the thing she tried to prosecute Trump for?
I don't like clowns.
I don't like... Oh yeah, this one, yeah. We went over this like 2 times in a row. Oh yeah, we saw this one too, yeah. This one was pretty fucking... Yeah, they listed him fucking white. It's like, what? Excuse me? You see this? You see white? What? Motherfucker's brown. Goddamn tanned. Tariq Nasheed. Oh, this is the weird fucking lawyer guy who doesn't have a good track record. President Trump made English the official language of the USA. Not sure what that means for Jasmine Crook. Brigo Garcia.
According to a new poll, California voters are not excited about Kamala Harris running for governor. To improve her support among Hispanics, she's been working with a consultant.
Jose Cuervo.
Letitia James is under investigation for falsifying records to get loans. Funny, isn't this exactly the thing she tried to prosecute Trump for? Makes me wonder, what if she banged Stormy Daniels? On one loan, Letitia reportedly listed her father as her husband. Hey, lady, stay in your lane.
Oh, wait, was that one chick we saw, Stormy Daniels? That might have been Stormy Daniels.
My message is simple. No matter how powerful you are,
Well, that one
no matter how
fucking
much
dude
money you think you may have, no one is above the law.
No one's above the
Maryland
law.
dad with 3 kids, who also happens to be an illegal.
And
Likely
he
a
beat
gang
his
member,
wife
perhaps a
a couple
domestic
times.
abuser. His name, don't know, don't care. All right? I got a family, a new baby, a dog, a job, a neighborhood plagued by violent creeps. I don't need this. Here's what I do know. He's here illegally, and like Joe Biden after a 3-bean burrito, he has to go.
Sounds about right.
Faced with an adult solution to a real problem, the media yet again creates an imaginary concern. From the same playbook that they always use. You worry about voter fraud, they say voter ID is racist. You worry about government fraud and abuse, they claim Doge is cutting Social Security. You worry about crime, they claim all cops are racist. You worry about medical monsters experimenting on children, they claim trans kids are killing themselves. Once you see this grift, you can't unsee it. When we try to solve a real problem, they create the imaginary concern to manipulate public opinion.
Fake news and manipulating public opinion.
But this time it's not working. Overwhelmingly, the American public favored deportations of illegals, no matter what bull you conjure up. So kids or not, he's illegal, he goes. And here's why. Let's go all the way back.
And he said, and the Supreme Court said he can be deported.
Migrants who we had no intel on.
And he is. He got deported.
Didn't investigate, who we identified only enough to write checks to. We knew less about those young men than the ones I meet at truck stops. Planes arriving in the middle of the night. New programs created by executive order, supposedly by a guy who couldn't find his way off the stage without a zip line. And all it took to get refugee status was saying, I hate tortillas. But now it's time for them to leave. Suddenly we're all social workers. Oh, he has kids. He works so hard. Well, pal, maybe don't pick a country you're illegally in to start a family. It sounds harsh. Now, when it's compared to the arrogant indifference of Democrats when women got raped and murdered by illegals that they let in. Not to mention the relentless violence in cities they ignored for years because it was under their watch.
That we saw earlier.
And now a couple of Democrat congressmen say they want to fly to El Salvador to retrieve this scum, who was an El Salvador citizen, by the way, not an American
who got by illegals.
Cory Booker wants to visit the prisoners in El Salvador. And that makes sense. It's the only place where people can't get up and leave when he starts yapping.
The funny part is that he's going to El Salvador to tell them that they're wrong.
Yeah.
Wait, is Cory Booker actually going to? Is he going to try to go get that guy?
You're gonna have to call the White House to get your jailed ass home. That ought to be a fun. I would love to be like, let me answer the phones that night. Hello? Oh, I'll have to put you on hold. That's the problem.
He just does a whole segment
no,
on
seriously,
Gutfeld.
it's like they're dumb, and we know they're dumb. But the problem is they don't know they're dumb because they're dumb.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you fucking dumb?
Do the Dems realize they have no authority in El Salvador? El Salvador is a little different than the green room at The View.
There's a couple other people who are dumb, too.
For one, the tattoos on The View were branded by farmers.
I have their photos. They're quite retarded. Because they like trying to genocide people.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
I've seen it.
Maryland Senator Chris Van Hollen.
It's one of his words that he loves all
to
the time,
rescue
too.
this guy from a
You
Central
can't stay
American
away
prison.
from it.
I'm here at the airport. I'm about to board my flight for San Salvador. The goal of this mission is to let the Trump administration, to let the government of El Salvador know that we are going to keep fighting to bring Albrego Garcia home until he returns to his family. I just landed at the airport in San Salvador a little while ago. I'm now en route into the city. Looking forward to meeting with the team from the American Embassy. The goal of my visit is to talk to people here about the release of Kilmar Abrego Garcia.
But really, the Maryland dad is just the latest awful prop for the latest awful narrative, a diversion to make you forget what the Biden regime chose to import with the media cheering them on. The crime, the fentanyl, the overwhelmed schools, the raped and murdered women. Joe did a killer job, and by that, I mean he actually got people killed. The media wants us crying over this dude. Sorry, I'm saving my outrage for the Americans that Biden, Harris, and New York is burdened, hurt, and betrayed.
Drugged out or something.
A betrayal.
The mainstream media
Politician,
has
by the
run
way.
more stories on this jackass than they did on the victims of the crime wave created by the open border they created. Look, it's simple. Deportation is the corrective to importation. When they came in, our terrible leaders didn't ask questions. Instead, they cared more about border agents getting whipped or whipping migrants. So now, when it's time to go, I'm not wasting mental shelf space on their concerns. Oh, but we're not sure he's MS-13. That sounds like a lot of the guys Kat used to date. But I repeat, I don't care. And don't get me started on, but isn't there a process? Yes, there is. Yes, there is. It's called hit the road. You can argue the legal all you want. Have at it, Clarence Darrow, whatever his name is. But all of that is downstream from the initial massive injustice, a Democrat government that deliberately flooded the country with illegals. If they didn't create this mess, we wouldn't have to clean it up. It's that simple. If you want to argue the legal implications, call 1-800-I-DON'T-GIVE-A.
Whisper. Good job, Whisper. Whisper. Good job. That's not a whisper. You have to whisper.
Well, there you go. That is the end. Palate cleanser of seeing stupidity and retarded people. It was Clown World Noxious YouTube. Chinese people weren't supposed to know this. Uh-oh, what happened?
Family of Chinese leader Xi Jinping is reportedly full of millionaires. But that leaves a flawed impression of the flawless Xi Jinping, and therefore can't possibly be true. Welcome to China Uncensored, I'm Chris Chappell. There are a few locations on Earth as heavily censored as China.
Correct.
Except for maybe a live feed of a nude beach. Year after year, China features among the countries with the most state-imposed restrictions on media freedom and freedom on the internet, often in the cozy company of states like Iran, Russia, and North Korea. All kinds of subjects end up on the wrong side of the heavy hammer of state censorship in China, from Chinese men accused of being too girly, to anything even remotely related to the Tiananmen Square massacre, or as it's officially known in China, the what now? But no topic is more taboo on the Chinese internet as the glorious Chinese leader Xi Jinping. From illustrations comparing him to Winnie the Pooh, like this one, and this one,
oh,
don't
the 100-acre wood
these, it make him
motherfucker.
super mad, to a slew of creative nicknames for Xi, such as the Driving in Reverse Emperor, Xi Solini, and the Devil Mao Incarnate. Wow, there are a lot of layers to that one. In fact, thousands of words and phrases referring to Xi have been banned over the years, with 500 extra added to the list in the span of just 2 months in 2020.
No way.
The number of banned words for Xi is larger than the entire vocabulary of the average teen on TikTok. Yes, it seems like a lot of China's censorship machine is laser focused on things having to do with Xi Jinping, especially anything that puts
I'm
him
surprised
in
they
an
know all these
unflattering
English
light.
words.
Though I'm not sure there is a flattering light for this guy. Which is probably why one of the most guarded topics in China concerns the wealth of Xi Jinping and his family. Bloomberg News learned this the hard way when it started to look into Xi's financial situation in 2012, after it became widely suspected that he would be the next Chinese leader. Bloomberg only managed superficial coverage on the matter before the entire news organization was reportedly threatened with total expulsion from China, after which the topic was abandoned. Few media organizations have openly dared to approach the subject since then, least of all those with people and ties in China. But then, last month, a U.S. intelligence report came out saying that Xi's family holds millions of dollars in business interests, raising suspicion that they might have benefited from Xi's position, which is shocking that the report says might have. This should surprise no one. It's long been a feature of the Chinese party state system and all communist regimes that those in high positions of power and those close to them are given ample opportunities to enrich themselves and protect their wealth. Or as I like to call it, the communism in practice versus the communism in principle. It's also an old story that authoritarian leaders and their families often end up at the head of vast fortunes during their time in power.
Well, I mean, they feel, right?
Especially
They
when that power
take in all the
lasts
wealth,
decades,
but to fucking
or
shit
across
on their
multiple generations. Because,
Right, shit on their employee. Right, they,
power-hungry,
it's
murderous
it's
authoritarians
basically
don't
the
have a lot of
oligarchs
scruples.
and everyone get
Most
paid.
of these authoritarian leaders seem to have no problem
all
flaunting
the poverty-stricken
like
people or the
Mitswati
workers
III of
keep
Eswatini
being
with his
used as,
bejeweled
like, slaves in a
Rolex,
way.
or President Erdogan of Turkey with his humongous
Almost like indentured
1,100-room presidential palace that was inaugurated in 2014. Still waiting for the MTV Cribs episode on this one. But Xi is different because he has a carefully cultivated reputation to uphold. You see, Xi is not a jet setter with golden tastes. He's just a simple man of the people who makes dumplings, presses pastries into baking molds, and rolls them up nicely, too. While the cameras are flashing all around him, you know, the way life is for any average Chinese person that hires a 12-man film crew to document their every move. He's also the guy that is called for common prosperity. Said he wants to spread China's wealth
like that
more
time
equitably,
fucking Trump went to
and
go to
vowed
McDonald's
to adjust
and
the
work there for a
excessive
little.
incomes of the super rich, which I
went to
assume he
become a
said while
fucking
looking
truck
at family
driver.
members and winking. In many ways, Xi's rhetoric has less in common with his immediate predecessors, like Hu Jintao and Jiang Zemin, and more in common with China's first communist leader, Mao Zedong. So, as a man of the people, with 12-person film crews, and an heir to Mao's strict Marxist-Leninist legacy, stories of Xi's millionaire family strike a very different note that's completely out of tune with the rest of his image, and therefore cannot stand. Because being called a murderous authoritarian is one thing, but a hypocrite, that just hurts his feelings.
I'm sorry.
At the same time, Xi has taken another page out of Mao's book and launched a flurry of anti-corruption campaigns since he came to power, resulting in the prosecution of more than 2.3 million officials by 2023.
Yeah, that's the stuff I remember. Him just taking out a whole bunch of people. Him just taking out all the right political officials that don't fucking side with him. Just take them out. Eject them. Put them in jail.
Despite more than a decade of these campaigns, Xi said earlier this year that corruption is the biggest threat to the Chinese Communist Party. And late last year, he urged the party to turn the knife inward to tackle corruption.
Yeah, that's why I was...
which again,
that's why I found it funny that they got iShowSpeed to go to China and be like a fucking industry plant. Like, come on, you guys all know why he's in there. He's there to be a fucking industry plant. I mean, look at Kyson Ant, full-on industry plant.
and I assume he said while looking at his family members and winking. So if it became public knowledge in China that during all this time, Xi's family has been able to use Xi to shield their wealth,
I read the Times in English. I imagine the filters of the I came to tell you that it appears as if you had the stream in
since it's
Spanish.
a persona that it spent years meticulously developing. They're running out of words to ban.
Excuse me?
At this point, very little about Xi's public appearances is natural or spontaneous. Instead, much of it has been carefully choreographed. It's as organic as an influencer posting a picture of themselves in heavy makeup and saying, woke up like
Use
this.
translator for this?
That
I
includes
don't know
everything
why
from
you
his
needed to
involvement in
use
top
translator
political
for this.
engagements to his interactions
But no,
with the
this
Chinese
is not
public.
a Spanish
It's often the same on the
speaking
international
stream.
stage, where events hosted in China place Xi at the center of events, with other world leaders often positioned as
there's no
backup
Spanish
dancers in
anywhere.
his show.
Why would it be Spanish?
This careful cinematography is part of boosting Xi's grand public profile as a Chinese leader that has launched a new era. In this era, Xi is not only leading the drive to build a strong China, which will inevitably lead to China's national rejuvenation, he's also building a better world with a shared future, charting a path for the global economy, and outlining the structure of a
they want
new
to be the
world
global economy
order.
back again.
As easily as he changes lines on maps.
Ancient China.
And we've seen how smoothly
They want their
that's worked
traditional
out.
ancient China
As a
back.
man embodying China's destined rise towards the
Yeah,
heavens,
Xi wants to
is
be at
beyond
the helm of
reproach,
it.
as is his family. And any stories indicating that they could have done something as earthly as taking advantage of Xi's position for personal enrichment needs to be subjected to swift censorship or more. So understandably, very few in China have dared to criticize Xi, with those
Are
who
you
have
VPNing?
feeling the searing consequences.
Appeared to be.
This
How
aura
do
of
you
godhood that Chinese
appear
state
to be?
media has bestowed upon Xi has also been extended to many of his policies,
Your
leading to
vision
disastrous
or
consequences.
brain must be
For
broken.
example, Xi tied himself closely to China's zero COVID policy from the beginning of the pandemic. And even after the rest of the world started to abandon strict lockdowns and quarantine systems, Xi vowed to stick to the strategy. Because
Wait, was
as
it?
every professional gambler will
Didn't
tell
he
you, always double
did he
down.
release that
Never
the
change your
COVID
strategy
finally
no
ended
matter
or
how
some shit?
badly you lose. When more infectious
Do they
COVID
still have
variants
COVID
came along,
breakdowns?
though, the state faced the
Lockdowns?
unsustainable prospect of having to lock down more of the country for longer to combat the spike in infections. But Xi was adamant. And since he can't be wrong, instead of adjusting the policy,
Unfortunately, I
Chinese authorities just enforced it
can't
harder,
understand
sending
what you're
China
saying
deeper
because
and
I
deeper
don't speak
into
English,
a
but
lockdown
I came to tell you
hellscape with
that.
over 3 million Chinese people forced into
Then why
lockdown
are you
at some
here
point.
if you can't
As more
speak
and more
English?
Chinese people across the country began to resist the draconian COVID measures,
No
this left
habla
the Chinese
español,
government in the
brother.
untenable position of being anchored to a catastrophic policy through their perfect leader. When people eventually began taking to the streets at the end of 2022, calling for the CCP and Xi to step down, the central leadership eventually cracked, and the zero COVID policy was quietly
using
dismantled.
translator? Well, that's good for
as
you.
quietly
I
as can
don't.
be
That
done
doesn't.
with something
what?
affecting 300 million people.
Are you here for a certain
However,
purpose?
the government's sudden
Are
capitulation
you here to
exposed
ask
how
questions?
poorly
What
it had
would you
planned
like
for
to
the
know?
time
I'm
after zero
confused.
COVID.
You're
The
confusing
virus
me.
subsequently surged through the Chinese population, infecting tens of millions in a matter of weeks, with 2 million excess deaths occurring in the 2 months after the end of the policy.
Wait.
Still have
Wait, he ended the COVID policies? Wait, what? I'm confused. Wait, as soon as he ended the policies, there was... Oh, I guess the data that just came out from, right, all them...
excess deaths
doing all
occurring
this?
in the 2 months after the end of the policy.
Oh, 2 months.
We still
okay,
have no idea how many people died in China because of COVID.
Oh, no, yeah, no,
The Chinese
we have
COVID
no idea.
endgame was an unmitigated disaster by any measure.
We don't even
But
know
in
what
a
happened to Russia
staggering
during
sign of
COVID,
Xi's
right?
influence
I would
and power
assume
within
some
the
of these
party, the
countries
Chinese
didn't tell
government
us anything
didn't
about
abandon
their
him.
COVID
A few months after the chaos
deaths
settled,
and
Xi came
outbreaks and
forward
stuff.
and announced a decisive
Or
victory
they weren't
over
being
COVID.
very
He made
truthful
no
with the
apologies,
numbers.
admitted no mistakes, and
As
expressed
usual.
no repentance whatsoever. But hey, perfect doesn't make mistakes. It just makes different shades of victory. And perfect clearly doesn't have family members sitting on million-dollar fortunes either. If you don't believe me, then you clearly need to have some sense knocked into you by Shisolini, or the devil incarnate, or whatever you choose to call this guy. And if you like YouTube censorship, great, click away now.
1,000-acre woods,
But if you
motherfucker.
don't,
That guy.
here's how you can subvert YouTube's refusal to notify people about new episodes. Sign up for our free weekly
You can't
newsletter.
use. Okay,
Click below
well, I
or
mean,
visit
I'm sorry.
ChinaUncensored.substack.com.
You're being retarded.
And
I'm
as always,
kicking you
keep
out
those
because you're
honeypot
just fucking
comments
retarded.
coming. I love reading them.
Why would you come into an
I'm Chris
English
Chappell.
stream if you
See you
can't?
next time.
Just get out of here. Yeah. Well, I mean, I didn't mean to ban you, but just time out. Get the fuck out of here. You're being weird. Come back when you speak English and you're not a fucking retard. Jesus. I'm not coming to the stream. Oh, I can't understand you. Then why the fuck am I talking to a wall? Like, what the fuck? Get the fuck out, you fucking weirdo. Alright, here we go. Chinese people weren't supposed to know about this. There you go. China Uncensored. Pooh is greedy and always want for more honey. Oh, shit. We don't need to watch this. I already know about the 2.8 billion bailout. He's just gonna give a like a big synopsis on it. See what we got here.
Been the case that because you have a piece of paper, even a piece of paper, a gender recognition certificate, saying that you are legally a woman if you're born a man, you are not in fact a woman. Do you not accept that? Or
trans women are women. They have always existed. They will always continue to exist.
What do you mean by trans women are women? How do you divide? See, I don't want to. Fuck, man. I wish I had a female here to fucking
what does that mean?
argue against this.
No one's saying they're figments of imagination.
Yeah, but we are saying that they're women.
No, you're saying they exist is not the same as saying they're women.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Hope all's good wherever you are. This clip is absolutely terrific. This is from
Star Wars. Yeah, apparently Bezos's fucking wife was in there for some reason. Yeah, I don't know why they were here. Why were they here? I don't know. It didn't make any sense why they did this thing. Or what's the point of the fucking, the launch they did? I guess they were looking for data? I don't know.
TV. This is conservative host Julia Hartley Brewer interviewing woke trans quote-unquote journalist Shivani Dave. The second clip you're going to watch is from today, but before that, I would be doing an injustice to you all if I didn't show you the first time that this lady was on Julia Hartley Brewer's show. Let's go.
My next guest, who is Shivani Dave. She is a journalist and a presenter at Virgin Radio, just down the corridor. Good afternoon to you, Shivani.
Good afternoon, Julia. Thanks. You know my pronouns are they, them. How are you doing?
Yeah.
She was just like, yeah. Fuck.
Good afternoon, Julia. Thanks. You know my pronouns are they, them. How are you doing?
Yeah. Thank you for telling me your pronouns. I use correct grammar, so the only thing I would need to refer you to is to your face would be you. But I'm not being rude. You can choose your pronouns. You can choose what you want to call yourself, but you don't get to require me to use incorrect grammar and factually incorrect things. You're not a plural. You're a one person, and you're a female person. So I will use she and her. Thank you very much.
Do what you like.
No, you didn't need to tell me then, did you?
Maybe I'm just making sure people know in case they're watching and they want to refer to me respectfully.
Is it disrespectful for me to use correct factual grammar?
It's not incorrect or unfactual grammar to use singular they them pronouns for an individual. But we're here to talk about the cast review.
Yeah, but you chose to bring it up.
You chose to use the incorrect pronouns for me.
I chose to use the correct pronouns for a single woman who is appearing on my show.
I'm not a single woman, though. I'm a very special non-binary trans person, as you just pointed out.
Yes, you're very special.
I didn't just point that out. I introduced you as a journalist and a Virgin Radio presenter.
Oh, this is beautiful.
No, just before I came on, you were talking about how people with all these labels like to be special. And I'm just making sure that everyone knows I'm special.
Okay, I'm not special. I'm just a boring old heterosexual married woman. But, sorry about that. We're not allowed to do that anymore. In fact, that probably makes me special.
Yeah, you're not. Apparently, you're not a bee.
Now let's get to the second clip, where the Shivani
You're not allowed to be just a regular woman now.
And storms.
You must change your gender
because Julia
and you must
is not
change everything to be trans.
To cave in to the absolute nonsense that men can wake up one morning.
Yes,
and just
everyone is trans now.
Be a woman. Let's go.
I am delighted to welcome back Shivani Dave. She's a journalist and broadcaster. You do a Friday night show on our sister broadcasting station at Virgin. And it's lovely to have you back in the studio. Last time you were here, you were a bit cross with me, and it went rather viral because I referred to you as she and her.
You should have said we both were at odds with
non-binary.
each other.
You prefer the pronouns they, them, and
whichever one's the scariest.
You took me to task for using what I believe were your correct pronouns. Does that landmark ruling by the Supreme Court change anything for you?
Well, so first of all, thanks for having me, Julia.
She's bringing out the Supreme
Friends call
Court.
me Shiv, so Shivani, Shiv, whatever pronouns scare you the most, they're fine for me. And I kind of want to say, I wrote you something, because obviously this is a huge topic. This is so a few sentences, if you let me say what I want to say. In years to come, I believe this decision by the Supreme Court will be considered shameful. Women are, in my opinion, beyond description or categorization. Women are funny, knowledgeable, powerful.
Oh, okay. So,
strong. And in my experience with trans women, they're kind. Trans people...
I don't... Okay, and? Are you not putting those those are categories and tags too? What are we doing here? So you want to trade out different tags instead? Like I don't you're not making any sense, lady.
Are not your enemy, and women are marginalized within our society.
I'm sorry, women are marginalized? Excuse me? Do you know how fucking protected women are in society? Holy shit. If you were to go to America and start some shit with a woman, you'd be slapped across the face by a fucking cop, shoving that fucking billy stick up right up your keister.
Already here in the UK, defining women by their sort of biological functions or their appearance has never helped any woman ever. Isn't that what the suffragettes were sort of fighting against in the first place? The ruling and this discussion entirety kind of is resulting in a distraction from the sort of disturbing reality that we're living through, which is, the facts are, the UK has an emboldened far-right population, our government is fueling a genocide, violence against...
Our government is... Wait, I thought this was about women, and then now you're talking about genocide and other parts. What the fuck are we doing? So she can't attack. Oh, what are we doing here? She can't attack the women argument. So she's going out and talking about other bullshit for no reason. That has nothing to do with the whole the whole Supreme Court thing. It's so weird how they always do this. You talk about a subject, and then they want to obfuscate and talk about some other fucking subject that has no fucking bearing on the fucking current topic that they're talking about. Like, what are you
women
doing?
and girls has shot through the roof, and spoiler alert, it's not because of trans women. The LGBT community is most likely to experience abuse, addiction, homelessness.
Okay, we get it. The LGBTQ go through a bunch of shit because they take a bunch of hormones and slice off their dick and do augmentations to themselves a little bit. I mean, yeah. That's what happens when you fucking take drugs that you're not supposed to. And you're feeling a certain way. And then you want to change it all the fucking time, constantly. It's like that one video we saw with that one video where the lady's constantly changing her looks by getting boob jobs, eye jobs, right? Stuff like that. Every time that person sees like a different shape or figure of a woman. Because obviously all humans have different features and physical features and yada yada yada. What do you want? Konnichiwa, bromi? What do you want, you fucking gooner?
Than the straight community, and within that, those who suffer the most are women. They are trans women. These are women who make me personally feel safe. They're the ones that I want to dance with at 2 a.m. in the morning and watch football with on a Sunday afternoon. The law can define a woman however it wants. You can call whoever you want, whatever pronouns you want.
Well, whatever it wants. Oh, now you're calling it an object. Oh, now you classify human beings as objects now, eh? I see how it goes. Okay, well, she's a retard. Found out.
But what are you really going to do? Are you going to make people cis or trans carry ID with them so that they have to prove who
You're an
they are?
object
To me,
dream,
that
so
sounds
are
like
you.
1930s Germany. If I were to call this out for the BS that it is, and if I were to swear on air, I would be in more trouble personally than any bigoted politician or presenter that has ever played a part to further marginalise this already vulnerable community.
Right.
Despite the years...
What do you mean marginalized? If anything, the laws have tried to give... Well, I can't speak for fucking the UK, but in America, these people have gotten so many rights and more. They're literally a fucking protected class because they're so rare. And you're gonna be they're marginalized and targeted. Well, maybe stop targeting yourselves. I don't know. Maybe stop lashing out at other people for your own mistakes. I don't know. Maybe stop being nonconformists and trying to fuck with society all the fucking time. You fucking weirdos. You're basically like the LGBTQ feminists who act like goddamn fucking Marxist nonconformists, right? Fucking brain dead fucking brain dead environmentalist fuckheads. You guys are the worst because you guys keep shitting on everything, and you just want this society to crumble. Literally, you want anarchy.
And even decades that some broadcasters have dedicated to violent, hateful dog whistles about communities that bring so much joy and happiness and creativity to the world and this country.
You do this to yourself.
I just
this is
think
all
that
self-inflicted.
The people who are celebrating this with their bottles of champagne are going to look back, or hopefully we are going to look back at them and
dude, I'm
think
eating
that
this
it's
shit up.
actually quite
This is
dark
all
and quite
self-inflicted, by the
disturbing
way.
that what they are celebrating is a separation of vulnerable people from society who are not going to be able to access the services that they need to access.
Right.
What are you?
Okay, there's a lot.
They're not going to be able to get the services that... what do you mean? What are you talking about? I'm so... All these people get healthcare, sir. I don't... What do you mean? What kind of service... I like how she said all these things, but didn't explain what kind of these things that you need in particular. She never gives any, like, specific, like, quick examples. You just list all these fucking weird, generalized, vague things, and it's just like, well, okay, well, that's great and all, but we already have people getting all that stuff, so I don't see what you're getting at here.
To unpick there, are you including me just out of interest in the vile and hateful dog whistle broadcasters?
It's a self-ID situation. If you feel you sit into that...
No, well, I don't, obviously, because I've not been hateful about anyone who's trans or... Do you? I'm asking you.
It's not for me to put you in a category.
It's not for you. Okay. Right, here we go. Right, you say it's shameful. You think this in the future will be regarded as shameful. I mean, you obviously think it's shameful now. And trans activists, many of them argue it is. Right?
I'm not a trans activist. I'm just a person.
But I'm talking about many trans activists. I wasn't including that. When you say women are beyond description and categorization...
yeah, she was just saying trans activists.
or a dog is beyond description and characterization. We have words, and words are only useful as an ability to communicate between human beings because we all agree what those words mean. So
yes, we all came to an agreement.
Mark and say that's orange. And you said, well, no, we have to be using words that have the same meaning. It's navy blue. So when I say it's navy blue, then you have to understand that as the same thing as I understand that. Otherwise, it's a meaningless conversation. So when we have a conversation about what is a woman, we need to all know what we mean by that. Now, it's your view and the view of many activists, I'm not saying you are, and many activists, that women has a number of different categories.
People I mean, she's obviously splitting her between the active, right? Because she doesn't consider herself. Right? She herself does not consider herself an activist, even though she's advocating for that side. By the way, she's advocating for that side, even though she's not in. I hate to say this, but if you're advocating for something in particular, I mean, you're in a sense being an activist. I hate to say it. It's the same thing with being a VTuber activist, or right, all that shit. If you're advocating for something, yes, you are essentially being an activist.
Are women. The Supreme Court was very, very clear. Yeah. They're saying not only is the law now, they're saying it has always been the case that because you have a piece of paper, even a piece of paper, a gender recognition certificate, saying that you are legally a woman if you're born a man, you are not, in fact, a woman. Do you not accept that, or do you accept that ruling?
I mean, like, that's whatever. Like,
no,
for
that's not an answer to a question.
Let me finish.
You're not 12.
Yeah, it's funny because they never want to what's wrong with answering yes or no? What's with the whatever? I mean, like, do you not want a solution to this? Is this not why you advocate for stuff like this? Why are you getting all bothered because people are trying to figure out what exactly you want? Yet you're attacking others because they're trying to figure out what exactly. See, this is why it's all fucking retarded, and why they get all up in their feelings and got a fucking pike up their asshole.
Let me finish my sentence. That is, to me, whatever, because for me and my community, trans women.
And then she puts herself in the she says me and myself and my community. And then she puts herself in the transcript. It's like, dude, well, okay, what are we doing here? So you are a part of community. Don't guess
are
it.
women. They have always existed.
Oh,
they
man,
will
these
always
people
continue
don't
to
make any
exist.
What
fucking
does that mean they've
sense.
existed?
Well, they've
no one's saying they're figments of imagination.
Yeah, but we are saying that they're women.
No, you're saying they exist is not the same as saying they're women.
Well, I'm saying that they're women.
And that's not the same as saying
fine,
they exist.
if the law doesn't want
to... No, we need to use words that have meaning.
Well, here's the words that have the meaning, because I've spent time to write these words, right, for you.
And we listen to them.
Frankly, I would rather share a bathroom with 100 trans women than one legal biological woman who wants to know what's inside my pants. And Julia, if I...
What? What? Did I just... Is this person retarded? Well, I mean, we already established this person's retarded in the beginning. So I guess it's fine to call this person retarded. But let's go back.
With 100...
This is why I think some of these people are so fucking brain dead and retarded, and they need some help. And I mean like the asylum help. Or like a re-education camp, because it's like, what are you even talking? Where did you find this information?
trans women than one legal...
Now, this just sounds like this is based off your feelings.
Biological woman who wants to know what's inside my pants. And Julia...
No one wants to know what's inside your pants. Not if you're gonna act like a fucking weirdo. Like, if you can't have a... See, this is where it's like, you can't have a normal conversation. You always have to bring in your gender identity, and it's like, what are you doing? Be a fucking normal person.
Yeah, if I'm right in remembering, you did ask me what my genitals look like once live on TV.
I think that was in the context of a conversation, and you raised that issue.
I remember the quote.
Oh, the genitals? Oh, wait, what?
I remember the quote. You don't have dangly bits, do you? So do you want to discuss dangly bits?
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, basically back here, yeah, because of the, yeah, she was just making a joke, and she got real So basically, these people don't know how to take jokes. They get all up in their feelings, and they don't know how to take jokes.
Or not?
Is basically
Because
what's happening.
I am now feeling in a
Basically,
position
this person's a Karen.
where I'm in a room with you, and I feel unsafe. Yeah.
You feel unsafe?
I feel unsafe. I feel my heart racing. My hands are starting to sweat. Do you want to touch my hand? Just clammy now. Okay. And I actually think I'm about to have a panic attack from sitting in a room with you. So I'd like to leave now.
What?
Yeah.
So you're feeling...
Yeah,
you were asked to come on the show to have a conversation.
And I've had a conversation.
We had a very nice...
We've had a conversation.
Well, you read out a statement, and now I'd like to ask you some questions.
You read out your statement.
I did
at the beginning.
Out a statement. No, that's me introducing the topic for people who are just tuning in and
you
explaining
added your
what happened.
ad-libs. You got to say what you thought about it. I've said my piece.
These people do not know how to take criticism. Like, as soon as they get criticized and as soon as their argument falls apart, they get all heated and they fucking lash out like fucking babies. This is a human being who's super fucking privileged, by the way. Super fucking privileged. Compared to other countries like in, say, Africa, I should say. Well, I mean, we can be more specific, right? Place in South Africa where there's literally people who are children of war fucking fighting and killing people and being terrors. Yeah, right? Yeah. It's like, you literally have people in the Middle East doing that shit too. It's like, come on. What are we doing? Why are you such a garbage human being? Why are you people like this? I don't understand. Stop being fucking garbage.
Piece and now I'd really like to go.
I thought you actually plugged into a mic there. I thought we were going to have a conversation.
I'd like to go.
You'd like to go? Okay, I wouldn't want anyone to feel unsafe being asked questions, but I have a funny feeling that was what Shivani Dave was planning to do all along.
Yeah, these pronouns.
Yeah, these people are fucking set. It's the same with Kamala Harris, how she didn't want to fucking do long interviews. Like, what? That doesn't make any sense. Are you mad that people are gonna fucking call you out and make jokes about you? People make jokes about everyone all the fucking time. Like, what? I make jokes about myself.
Pronouns and English
like, what the fuck?
Language are used to convey a truth. If you're using the word
like,
they,
what? I make jokes about fucking dumb kids. Like, what?
You're obviously not conveying a truth.
I make jokes about disabled people even though I shouldn't.
If I'm telling a story,
like what?
About
no one is
person,
free. I make jokes about everybody.
Obviously, that is not correct.
I'll even make jokes of
Once
those
again,
fucking starving Ethiopian kids you
English
goddamn
language
see
is
on
used to convey
infomercials
truth.
and shit.
Now,
where they're
words
like,
can
oh
change over
yeah,
time.
you
We've seen
gotta,
it change, like just
you
the
need
word
to
woke,
help
for
this
example.
Ethiopian kid
But it's
who's starving
crowdsourced,
out
right?
in the
crowd
boonies.
decides that the word has changed. It happens over time, over a period.
Some countries
events.
away.
You don't just get to decide what a word means, and then we're all supposed to follow the delusion that you are living with. I call people by their names. I have no problem
as you can
calling
see,
people
I
by
have
their names. I
fucked
will not
up
use the
mind.
pronouns. Names are arbitrary, right? You want to call
I'm
yourself
a very
Frank or
fucked
Susie,
up
you can
person.
change your name to whatever. I'll call you by your name. I have no problem with that, and I will be very courteous to you. But if you're a grown ass man with a beard and a dress, you're not going to get me to call you she.
Yeah,
You're not gonna get me to
exactly.
want
If you're
to agree that you should be.
It's like that fucking picture of fucking Asmongold in his fucking dress. That's a dude. Same with Hassan and the Figotry group. Yeah, those are dudes, and they all want to slice off their dicks.
In a woman's washroom, share women's spaces.
Yeah, they all do that humiliation ritual because, well, if they take any sort of criticism, they fucking crash out hard. Well, except for Asmongold, he can take it.
These are the feminists that caused all this, right?
But the other guys, no, they'd fucking put that gun in their fucking. Sorry, I shouldn't go that far.
Even men on the left, not all obviously, but there's even some men on the left that are against this completely.
Right,
Okay,
these people are not willing to die on the hill of their ideology. Right, if society were to break down and shit hit the fan, these people would fucking crumble in a minute. In probably seconds.
Should box with women. Nobody wants to see a man beat the snot
Like
out
some
of
of these people have
like
no
we just saw
survival
in
sense
the Olympics.
whatsoever.
Ludicrous. But the feminists are the one fighting for this.
They're literally
Feminists are the
walking
ones fighting for men
corpses.
to take over their spaces and their sports. Pretty soon, if this would have kept going, if Trump didn't
Walking
get elected,
garbage.
or if he keeps going in the Olympics, because they're still on the woke nonsense, you're going to have biological men winning all the medals in all sports.
Yeah,
it's
pretty
completely bonkers. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, smash that thumbs up button for your boy. Consider subscribing to the channel. Help it grow, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out, everybody.
Like this person, fucking garbage. As soon as war hits, this person's gonna get fucking got instantly. All these people fucking got instant. Well, this person's apparently a soldier terrorist person, so he's probably fine. All these people dead instantly when war breaks out. 'Cause they're fucking retarded. War breaks out, this dude's fucking retarded. He's gonna get got. I'm sorry, Dan Clancy. Ethan Klein. I mean, his wife his wife had to enlist and shit, so it's like, he's gonna get got still. Motherfucker has no sense of fucking survival instincts. He's gonna get got. Well, actually, his wife will probably protect him, because she's the only one that could probably fire a firearm. This person's gonna get got. Probably still crying about dumb shit now, till this day. Oh yeah, this retard's gonna get got. If war breaks out. He's gonna whimper in his fucking closet. Oh man, I could pull out a lot of... these people are gonna get got. Both of them are gonna... I mean, he can probably fire a gun, but he's still gonna get got because he's a pussy. Same as this guy, he's a pussy too. Motherfucker can't even take criticism from fucking Sam Hyde. Dude isn't even even close to him, and he fucking freaks out. You know, all these people are fucking man-childs. They're just stunted fucking human beings. I can't wait for war to break out, 'cause it means everyone's gonna fucking shit a brick. Oh, I can't wait for that day. 'Cause I'm gonna fucking eat that shit up so great. Oh, fuck. I'm an evil person. I'm sorry. People just live too comfortably nowadays. I'm sorry. Not sorry.
Transit system, but there is one crime category that is still up, and that is the category
they want to feel all protected because they got the police not coming after them and whipping out the fucking the fucking billy club and sticking it right up their butthole. Just wait till we have right, the secret police and everything. That's gonna be a great time. Sorry. Trump isn't gonna do that. I would though. I would get the secret police and start fucking whacking people left and right.
So, as our leaders try and reassure us that the subway is getting safer, it's actually getting more dangerous.
Yeah, you already had some people already do government officials, right? Corrupt government officials whacking people left and right. I mean, shit, they're doing it and getting away with it. Just look at the corrupt fucking DOJ and lawyer system sometimes. Yeah, they're fucking whacking people left and right.
New York City
bunch of
police
corrupt ass
officers are making
motherfuckers.
arrests in record numbers underground.
Oh no! Don't attack my career. It is a big career. No, fuck you. You guys are fucking shady sometimes.
Stepped up patrols on the trains, on the platforms, and at the turnstiles. But as they do, they're becoming crime victims.
You guys
themselves.
play this weird fucking game sometimes, and it's just like, I'd rather just fucking slice your guys' throat.
Unacceptable, dramatic increase in the number of NYPD cops being assaulted, all while proactively patrolling the subway system.
Protect the
They just need more places
Yeah,
for people with
yeah,
mental
we
illness
get it,
to
we
be
get
able
it.
to live in and take their medicine and things like that, because we need more help with people with mental illness here.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's why I don't take it after 9 p.m.
Suspects in both those recent high-profile cases were promptly arrested thanks in part to an already heavy police presence in the subway system and an extensive network of MTA cameras. It's these types of crimes riders say worry them the most.
That's funny because in other countries, right, in the Asian countries, they'd fucking take out that skin. Fuck it. They'd hang you in a second.
And as they do, they're often confronted.
But here we don't have
people who are menacing
even if we caught the criminal activity on camera, there's just like, oh no, it's just alleged, it's just alleged. Even though it's full-blown motherfucker just tossing, abusing people. It's like, jeez. No, it's just alleged, it's just alleged. No, that camera, that video, that's nothing. That's alleged. That has nothing. Due process, yes.
Seized on the train so far this year.
Due process with
with
getting that fucking knife stuck in your goddamn chest.
Because what nobody in charge of this place will admit is that all of this points to a subway system that isn't getting safer, but is rather teetering on the edge of collapse. And before we get into what's causing this and why
What
it's
a
only
corrupt
getting
and
worse, we better
broken
do it
ass
quickly
system.
because if you look around at all the rust and decay down here, it very well could be that this entire place collapses before the end of this video. It's incredibly old, which doesn't make any sense because not only is this America's most dangerous public transit system, it's also the most expensive. And it doesn't help that the subway is also the full-time residence of some 4,000 individuals the city has left to fend for themselves, many of whom are sadly dealing with mental health issues, but also happen to be armed, making them a danger to themselves and possibly others. And when you add to that an agitated base of perpetual criminals roaming the subway, looking to assault and rob others, there's a level of lawlessness down here that won't disappear even with more police than ever on patrol. And that brings us to the real reason police are now being targeted. They're getting up every day, putting on their uniforms to protect the general public from people who probably
You know what happened? You know that there's people called cop killers, right? And some of them have roamed free and did a bunch of heinous shit.
shouldn't be down here.
Right, some of these people hunt down cops on purpose.
at all. Because not only do our laws mandate most of the people police arrest be released without bail, they also mandate that anyone who needs long-term mental health intervention be involuntarily committed, but only for a mere 72 hours in most cases, putting our police in an impossible no-win situation, constantly dealing with the same people, even though these are folks who oftentimes have a frightening track record of unpredictable behavior. And sadly, as you're about to see, if the police
well, with
safe
all the
down
mental
here,
health facilities not being around anymore, basically the asylums.
So we've been hearing for a long
These
time
people
about how
are
the subway
like walk-in
is safer than it's ever
clinics
been. But perhaps
where they
that's
can
just
actually
because
get
police
some
have
help.
been putting themselves between us
Yeah,
and
no,
the
those are
criminals
gone.
down here, which
All
reveals
of them.
something very troubling. The danger down here still
Your new
exists.
clinics
It's
are the
everywhere.
prisons
It's
and
all
jails.
around us. It's just
Good
being
luck.
drawn to the officers
Because
who are
they're
down
not
here to
equipped
protect
for
us.
that
And
shit.
that's turned this place into a ticking time bomb.
Assaults on New York cops now patrolling subways in larger numbers are up by 152% over the last 5-year period. Attacks are also up on transit.
Yeah, even people on the metro.
When a normal
In California,
person sees
people in the
police down
metro
here in
are
the
getting
subway,
attacked
we
too.
feel safer. We don't think anybody would be stupid enough to try anything with them around, but as it turns out, that's not the case at all. Cops are out here making arrests, stepping up patrols, actually trying to clean up the subway, but criminals are fighting back. And apparently this has been a trend since 2022 when assaults against police suddenly jumped. And today, 1 in 3 felony assaults is against a police officer. And you've got to wonder, if somebody's willing to assault a police officer, what chance do you or I have if we encounter?
Look, if they're willing to hold you at gunpoint to steal from you, they're willing to take it all the way and kill you. Right? If they're willing to brandish a weapon at you, they're willing to fucking kill you. Let's be real. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. If they're brandishing a weapon and they're right in a menacing manner towards you, they're obviously willing to fucking do it.
That person. Not much, and look at this. Although the city insists crime down
Stop
here
fucking
is
lying to
decreasing,
yourself.
there
You
is
know
one
that
particular
person's
crime
gonna
that just
fucking
won't
get you if you don't
disappear,
be
and that
careful.
would be the crime of assault. Assaults are 55% higher today than they were in 2019.
And I hate
And
how,
although
we all have to play this. We have to play stupid and be like, oh no, it's not true. No, this person, he allegedly did this. He didn't. Blah blah blah. Shut the fuck up.
I'm not sure what other crimes the city is including in its statistics to bring down the overall number.
It's the
Assaults
same
are a
with
crime that
stalking.
most people riding the subway
Right,
are
and
really
how
alarmed.
and how some of the police officers don't even deal with that shit. Like, dude, you literally have tons and tons of phone calls and instances of this person saying, "Hey, this person's being a fucking stalker. Do something." Nope, don't do anything. Okay.
About, and riders are now 50% more
they don't
likely
even
to
do
have
their
a
job
problem with an
sometimes.
assault
It's
than they
fucking
were just a
horseshit.
few years ago. And if the crimes that really put people in danger are up, is it safer down here?
Yeah, if
even with
anything,
the overall level of
if anything, humans are a fucking their own worst enemies, right?
crime is down? No, it's not any safer down here. In fact, as we're learning, it's possible for
People have become way too comfortable thinking, "Oh yeah, no, it's not gonna happen." And then when shit hits the fan, oh, I didn't think it was gonna happen to me. Motherfucker. It's gonna happen to anyone, you fucking retard.
overall crime to go down, while
Not
the
being
levels
a
of danger down
fucking
here
Dumbo.
go up. Just ask the police, who are now the victims of a crime wave they're supposed to
Would
stop.
you like to be struck by lightning? I don't think so. That's not a good feeling.
Fare evasion, honestly. And some of those people who apparently got used to
There's
the
barely anybody who survives that shit. And the people who do survive that, they don't.
So that's the
They're
head
not
of
the same
MTA,
people
and
after
he's
that shit.
shocked that police are now being targeted, but there's a problem with this outrage, because when subway crime affects you or I or any customer of the MTA, he says it's all in their head. But I'm thankful
It's
he's
all
not
in their
telling
head,
the
yes.
police that the crime they're experiencing is in their heads. Now, obviously, the head of the MTA's in a tough spot. It's an election year in New York City, and he's got to play nice with everybody, both right.
Well, I mean, it's dude, it's the same with every country. They try to sweep under the rug all the criminal activity and all the crazy shit that's happening. Try to sweep it under the rug. Oh no, it's not happening. Shit, I need this for my job. I can't get caught up in this shit. Oh man.
Writers and
Sad
politicians,
fucks.
which has got to be like jumping through hoops of fire every time the news
all
cameras are
that
pointed at you. But he
matters
brings
is
up a
your
very frightening
status
statistic.
and
All these
money,
assaults on police
and you
are
don't
taking
care
place
about
when they
doing
go
the
about
right
combating
thing.
a problem progressives say isn't a big deal, and that would be fair evasion.
Just status
something
and
that
money
costs
and
the city
lawlessness.
$800 million
Nice.
a year when people go through
Nice,
turnstiles
nice.
like this without paying.
Gotta
or
love
these
the
right here, which
lawlessness.
were actually introduced to decrease fair evasion
Maybe I should
because
do
the thought was
some
they'd be so easy to
lawlessness and
use, nobody would
vigilante-justice,
jump.
huh?
If you're wondering, this is one of those expensive pilot programs the city spends its money on instead of hiring more police to keep us safe down here. But we're constantly told by progressives that fair evasion's not a big deal. In fact, these are the same people who believe that all public transit should just be free. But studies show that oftentimes folks who've
Well, I mean,
evaded
the reason
fare
why
then
public
go on
transit
to
isn't
commit a
free
much
is
more
because,
egregious
well,
crime
you
once they're
need to
inside the
maintain
subway.
it
And now we hear
by
from the head of the
by
MTA
taxpayer
himself
money.
that
So in a
folks
sense,
evading the fare
taxpayer
are
money is
also the ones
maintaining
engaging in
the,
combat with law enforcement when they get
It's
busted.
supposed to be
Revealing that a lot of
maintaining
what
the
goes on
transit
down here is
system.
not only not victimless, the victims of those
But I guess
crimes
they
just
need
so
more
happen
money
to be
'cause,
whoever the
they're broke.
criminal first encounters.
In
As usual.
1997, there were 17 felonies a day. Last year, just 6. But officers are under orders to enforce so-called quality of life offenses, like fare beating. And as they do, they're often confronted by the unstable people who are menacing riders. Felony assault.
So here we go again with the news telling us that major crimes are down, but you've also got this perpetual mass of people who aren't afraid of anybody or anything, and
Right.
assaults are simultaneously up. And a big component of this nobody's talking about are how overall levels of lawless behavior down here are
Also, they're
skyrocketing.
just
You've got
talking
people
about the
sleeping,
subway and
lounging
metro.
about on platforms,
They're not talking
engaging
about
in
the
disruptive
the
behavior for no
outside
reason,
right
and the
crime
city just
rate
lets
too.
all of that go. And although criminal sympathizers don't want to
So
admit
as
it,
you can see,
rampant
they're cherry-picking
disorder just attracts
information.
more criminals and more
Or
lawless
data.
behavior, not less. In fact, since we're now punishing less crime than ever before, we're creating an army of entitled criminals. And we shouldn't be surprised when they lash out at the authorities, the one rare instance where they do get confronted about doing something that they shouldn't be doing. And this is going to wear out and demoralize our officers. They can't put up with being the brunt of a crime wave forever. And once they're gone, that crime wave is just going to go back to targeting people like you and me.
33% of the felony assaults, the victims are police officers. 7% of the victims are transit workers. And MTA officials said today that many of those arrested are repeat offenders, some with multiple arrests in the same year. Well, tonight.
Isn't that crazy? As a police officer in this city, it's your job today to arrest the same person you arrested yesterday
Yep.
for the same thing they did yesterday. And although most proponents of law and order disagree with progressives who say criminals will learn lessons from this constant arrest and release cycle, the criminals who make it down here are learning lessons, all right. They're learning how to interact with police and evade them and the limits of their power to arrest and detain someone, which is not what we want. We don't want criminals learning how to evade law enforcement and get better at breaking the law, but that's what happens since they never seem to wind up in jail for what they do. And the other problem contributing to a sense of lawlessness down here is the fact that New York City's laws handicap those tasked with assisting the mentally ill from actually caring for them. Many
Well, I
individuals
mean,
down
when you
here
have
are in need of
attorney
long-term
generals
treatment,
that
but in many cases our
basically
laws mandate
allow
people
criminal
be discharged
activity to
from
happen
facilities before anything's been
constantly. I mean, what can you
accomplished,
do,
sometimes
right?
after just a few days, which leads to the same people coming back down here to do the same things and engage in the same behavior, contributing to that overall level of lawlessness that we all experience the moment we enter this place. But luckily for people who ride the trains and use the subway in a law-abiding fashion, there is now an ultimate authority figure taking an interest in what's going on down here. And that authority figure would be the federal government, who's now going to step in and force New York City to make some changes down here. So the reason reason so much crime takes place down in the subway is because for years, it's never been anybody's fault that things have been this way. Nobody's ever been held accountable, but that's about to change because New York City now has to share its crime data with the federal government, who gives it money to run the subway. And the federal government's made it clear that if they don't see evidence New York City is taking steps to make things better and safer underground, they might not be footing the bill much longer, which could result in the MTA that runs the subway having less money to experiment with different types of evasion-resistant gates, or less money in general to make repairs and even run the subway.
The Trump administration threatening to cut billions of dollars in federal funding to the MTA over subway crime. The letter from the Department of Transportation did not include a specific amount that could be cut, but said consequences could include redirecting or withholding.
So the city losing its ability to just waste money on what is a black hole of financial investment that could actually be a good
there's
thing.
a lot
Now,
of
the federal
black
government
holes of
hasn't said
investment.
how much money the city's
The
subway could
homelessness
lose or what they'll end up doing with
this
it. For example, they've
problem,
mentioned that funding could
affordable
be
housing
redirected
problem.
and say used for only purposes of
Just a
law
black hole of
enforcement
money.
and safety, which would force the people running the subway
Security.
to find their own money to make desperately needed repairs instead of installing bizarre benches like this at stations
Pharmaceuticals.
where many people in the past have been found
I mean,
sleeping.
everything's
Why
a
else
black
would they
hole.
build something like this, which you can't even sit down on? Unless it was your mission to waste money on things that don't actually help people who don't have a place to stay. But the most unbelievable aspect of this is even though everybody knows the subway is not in a good place right now, our leaders are still out there defending it, even though assaults are up 55% in general and up over 150%
Wow.
on police.
I feel like the kid.
There's a 50% chance you're gonna get assaulted every time you go out into the subway. Ah, yikes. That's not a place I want to go. Oh shit. God damn. Looks like I'm
So
gonna
I
get
think I'm
fucking
starting
mugged.
to feel bad for the head of the
I'm
MTA.
gonna get
Earlier, he
muggled.
just told us how shocked he was that police were now in trouble, but he's also out there telling us he's done everything so much to make it safer down here that
You're gonna
your
get
head will
muggled.
spin. And I don't want to give him a hard time, but if you went to school and you spent a long time on your homework, but it's all wrong, the effort you've spent doesn't offset the F that gets stamped on your paper.
Correct.
In fact, the only recent safety initiative we can point to is the deployment of more police
The
down
F
here,
would
and
be
now
coming.
assaults against police are up, so it's not really working, is it? On top of that, service is absolutely atrocious. You've got systemic delays pretty much all the time now, making it pretty hard for people to actually see the results of the $20 billion a year this
Delay,
place
delay,
gets.
more
On
delay.
the right side, officers are doing a great job removing blades from the subway system, and oftentimes they
Oh yeah,
say
all the
people they find with
materials to
weapons
make
come
this
in through the
stuff
emergency gates,
came from
jump over the
China.
turnstiles, and they say that by failing to enforce those types of violations, potentially dangerous individuals
None of it
are
was
allowed
American
to roam
made.
free
They
in
all
the
shipped it
subway.
from
Yet, as
China.
we're now learning,
All
arresting
the
people over and over again for the exact
electrical
same
components
types of
and
crimes is just a band-aid
steel
solution
and
at
metal.
best for a long-term crime problem that's just getting worse.
I'm not concerned. We
I
have
mean,
actually
I'm kind of joking, but at the same time, I'm not. It's kind of true.
we have ever had in recorded history in the first part of this year.
A spokesman for Governor Hochul said her first priority is public safety, which is why she surged more than 1,000.
So it's hard to blame our leaders for having viewpoints like this. After all, we've got mayoral elections this year and a governor's election next year. They're just trying to look and sound their best. But nobody's out there going after our laws, which have created all of the problems taking place down here. After all, a system that just arrests people over and over again and doesn't put them in jail only trains those people to avoid arrest in the future. And a system that allows repeat offenders unlimited chances to come back to the scene of the crime will never right itself automatically. On top of that, all the recent decreases in crime our leaders point to could actually be fake. And let me tell you something, when you're down here trying to use the subway, it certainly feels like they're fake. And look, I'm not defending the officer who got caught doing this, but he's probably under a lot of pressure to come up with numbers that make it look like those that are in charge of him are doing a good job down here. And if you're a cop right
Well, I mean, trying to keep track of data like this, you'd have to have basically people who know what kind of data to look for too.
now, you're in a
And you'd have to be someone like constantly surveilling and like taking notes.
lose-lose situation. The people running this city don't want there to be actual solutions because there never have been any. And they greatly dislike the president who's coming to the table now.
I don't think they
forcing
have
them
people
to fix
actually
the crime
taking notes.
problems
It's
in
hard to
America's
say.
largest
I
and
don't
most
know
dangerous
who's
public transit
investigating this
system.
for
And here
them.
you are as a cop. You're
Or
on the
who's
side
doing
of
the
law and order,
study
while
for
those
them.
who tell you what to do may not necessarily be. What do you think our police are going to do? Are they ever going to be able to stop crime down here without meaningful changes to our laws? And now that the federal government is threatening to take money away from New York City, could we finally see changes that make the subway a safer place for everyone down here, including those who really need help and just aren't getting it? Let me know. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.
There you have it. Cash Jordan.